my dear students, myself Gangadhar Solanke, and I welcome you all to the MCGM's virtual classroom.
Our subject is geography, and the topic in geography is third chapter, that is physiography and drainage. So to understand this in detail, two maps are given: India physical and Brazil physical. Physical maps of India and Brazil is figure 3.1 and figure 3.2, and the questions are given which you have to solve or answer given questions by using these given maps. And then about drainage, Brazil river, and one more of India's main rivers and lakes. By observing or by studying these given four maps, we can easily understand the physiography and the drainage of India and Brazil. India, if we are talking about the physiography of India, then it is divided into five major physiographic divisions. And these divisions are the Himalayas, the North Indian Plains, then the peninsula, coastal plains, and the last one, island groups. These are the five major physiographic divisions of India: the Himalayas, the North Indian Plains, the peninsula, coastal plains, and island groups. I'll study in detail about all these physiographic divisions of India, and in this the first one is the Himalayas. As you can see, the images on the screen, the Himalaya is one of the young fold mountains in the world. The Himalayas extended from Paminot in Tajikistan to the east. It is a major mountain system of the Asian continent. In India, it extends from Jammu and Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh. The Himalayas extend from Paminot in Tajikistan to the east. And if we talk about India, it extends from Jammu and Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh. Here you can see Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Sikkim, and Arunachal Pradesh, that is Himalayan states. Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Sikkim, and Arunachal Pradesh. The Himalayas is not a single mountain range. There are many parallel ranges in the system. The southernmost is known as Shivaliks or the Shivalik ranges, which is also the youngest range, and the Shivalik hills or range are the southernmost and geologically youngest east-west mountain chain of the Himalayas. This one now, Shivalik hills, or the range of Shivalik hills. Next to Shivaliks are Lesser Himalayas, Greater Himalayas, and Trans Himalayan ranges from south to north. And these ranges are young to old respectively. Now, this in map again you can see Great Himalaya, then this one on number second, Lesser Himalaya, and the last one, Shivalik ranges. So if you go through the maps, then it is very easy to understand the geography. Here again you can easily understand this in yellow color, Lesser Himalaya, this one. We'll go for the next. These mountain ranges are also divided into Western Himalayas, or we can call it as Kashmir Himalayas, Central Himalayas or Common Himalayas, and Eastern Himalayas or Assam Himalayas. So basically it is divided into Shivaliks, Lesser Himalayas, Greater Himalayas, Western Himalayas, Central Himalayas, and Eastern Himalayas. And the next one, North Indian Plains. This division lies between Himalaya mountains in the north and the peninsula in the south. Similarly, it extends from Rajasthan. Here you can see it extends from Rajasthan and Punjab. From Rajasthan and Punjab in the west to now this is to Assam in the east. North Indian plains extend from Rajasthan and Punjab to Assam. It is mostly a flat, low lying area, and the North Indian plains are divided into two parts: Ganga plains and Sundarbans. The part lying to the east of the Araulis is the basin of the river Ganga, and that is why it is known as the Ganga Plains. It slopes eastwards. Most of the West Bengal state of India and Bangladesh together constitute the delta of Ganga Brahmaputra system, which is known as Sundarbans. It is considered to be the world's largest delta, Sundarbans. The middle part of the northern plain formed by the Ganga river and its tributaries, that is the Ganga, the Yamuna, the Ghagra, and the Kosi. Here you can see Sundarbans. this one here. With the help of map, it is easy to locate. The western part of the North Indian plains is occupied by desert, which is known as Thar Desert or Marusthali. This region is spread to the west of Aravallis and Delhi ranges. These plains have formed as a result of depositional work by river Satluj and its tributaries. Because the soil here is very fertile, agriculture is largely practiced in this region. So next to the North Indian plains, observe this map. Here you can see the Thar Desert. Aravalli Range, river Satluj, and the next point, the peninsula. The area lying to the south of North Indian plains and tapering towards tapering. Here you can see tapering towards the Indian Ocean is called Indian Peninsula. Now here the first in the map is Central Highlands. Then the second one, Deccan Plateau. And third one is Chota Nagpur. It consists of many plateaus and hill ranges. The Aravallis in the north are the oldest fold mountains. It includes a series of plateaus bordering the plains. Vidnans and Satpura ranges in the central part and the hilly regions of western and eastern Ghats. Next, the coastal plains. As we know, India is blessed with a long coastline extending for approximately 7,500 km, which lies to the western and eastern coastline, show remarkable dissimilarities. Again, pointer on the screen, pointer on the map, and you can see coastline or the coastal plains of India. The western coast borders the Arabian Sea, which is by and large a rocky coast. At places, spurs taking off from the Western Ghats have extended right up to the coast. Its width is also less. Rivers originating from Western Ghats are short and swift, and hence they form estuaries and not deltas, like this. The eastern coast borders the Bay of Bengal, and has formed as a result of depositional work of rivers. Many east flowing rivers using from the western and eastern Ghats meets this coast. Because of the gentle slope of the land, rivers flow at lower velocities and deposit the sediments brought with them at the coast, and which results deltas which are found along this coast. And the last point of the physiography of India, the island groups of India. India has many small and large islands along the coast of mainland. There are coastal island groups, Lakshadweep Islands, whereas the islands in the Bay of Bengal are called the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Islands in the Arabian Sea and in Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea, which are in the Arabian Sea, are known as Lakshadweep Islands, and islands in the Bay of Bengal are called the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Most of the islands in Lakshadweep are atoll islands. They are small in extent and not very high. Islands in the Andaman group are mainly volcanic islands. They are large with hills in their interior parts of includes an island called Barren Island, which has the only active volcano in India. There are atolls in the Nicobar group too. So this was all about the physiography of India. Again, if we talk about the physiographic divisions of Brazil, which are as follows: the highlands, the Great Escarpment, coastal region, the plains, and the island groups. So if we talk about the physiography of Brazil, it is occupied by highlands, plateaus, and small mountains. There are no very high and long extending mountains in the country, except for the northern Amazon basin and in southwest along the upper parts of Paraguay basin. There are no wide plains in the country. Drainage, we have to talk about the drainage of Brazil and drainage of India. So as far as the drainage of Brazil is concerned, there are three major river basins, and in that the first one is Amazon basin, then the Paraguay Parana system in the southwest, second one, and then the last Sao Francisco in the eastern part of highland and other rivers at the coast. So when we talk about the drainage system of Brazil, then we have to talk about all these three river basins, that is Amazon basin, Paraguay Parana system in the southwest, and Sao Francisco in the eastern part of highland. Now one by one we will learn in detail about all these things, but first of all, this is the map which is given in our textbook, that is figure 3.4 Brazil drainage. So if you people go through this map, then you can easily understand the drainage system of Brazil. So this map showing major rivers of Brazil. Now here on the screen, Amazon basin. Amazon collects its headwaters from the eastern slopes of Andes mountains in the Peru. Here now on the screen in the image you can easily understand this basin, Amazon basin, and here is the Andes mountains. This one, if you go through this map, you can easily understand how these mountains collects its headwaters. Amazon river receives huge discharge. Now whenever there is word huge, then just we are now going for the number that how huge it is. It is 2 lakh meter cubic per second. Just think about the number. Amazon river receives huge discharge, and that is 2 lakh meter cubic per second. And because of this, Amazon washes off the load supplied to it from the catchment, and consequently sediments are not deposited even at the mouth. Why? Because of the speed of the water, or because of this huge discharge. So a dense network of distributaries, which is a characteristic feature of river mouth areas, is by and large absent in the mouth region of Amazon. Again I am repeating, a dense network of distributaries. Here on the screen again you can see the network of the distributaries, which is a characteristic feature of river mouth areas and is by and large absent in the mouth region of Amazon. Instead, we find a series of islands developed along the mouth of Amazon beyond the coastline into the Atlantic Ocean. It will be interesting to note that at the mouth, the width of Amazon channel is 150 kilometer. Now here it is given in our textbook that take into consideration a place which is 150 kilometers away from your home, so that you will get an idea of the width. It will be interesting to note that at the mouth, the width of Amazon channel, ये जो Amazon river की channel है उसकी width at the mouth कितनी है? 150 किलोमीटर. Just think about the distance. अभी आप जिस जगह पे है घर में बैठे हुए, वहाँ से 150 किलोमीटर कहाँ तक जाता है, उतनी width इस Amazon basin river की channels जो है उसकी है. So that you can understand the hugeness of this river, or you can understand by this the flow, or we can say the discharge of this river. Most of the course of the Amazon river is suitable for navigation. Now the next thing, Paraguay-Parana system. These two rivers are located in the southwestern part of Brazil. You can see Paraguay on the screen, and both the rivers from the catchment of River Plata in Argentina. These two rivers and River Uruguay in extreme south of the highlands collect their headwaters from the southern portion of the highland. So you people just go through this image so that you can easily understand. Here Argentina, both the rivers from the catchment of River Plata in Argentina. Now, the next and the third, Sao Francisco. It is the third important river of Brazil and the entire basin of this river is within Brazil. ब्राज़ील के अंदर ही पूरा बेसिन है, किसी बाहर देश के साथ इज़ नॉट कनेक्टेड या फिर वहाँ से बहता हुआ नहीं जाता है. So the entire basin of this river is within Brazil. It occupies the eastern portion of the highlands. The river flows towards the north for a distance of about 1000 km over the plateau and then takes a sharp eastward turn to enter the coastal strip along the Atlantic Ocean. Here now you can see Atlantic Ocean is here and Sao Francisco. The river is navigable for a distance of about 250 km in its downstream reaches. Coastal rivers of Brazil. Brazil has a number of short coastal rivers and in that the coastal area being densely populated, these rivers attain significance. River Paraniba and river Itapequeru flowing northwards meet the North Atlantic Ocean. The rivers that enter South Atlantic Ocean collect their headwaters along the escarpment and river Puragawaquio enters the Atlantic Ocean near Salvador town. Near Salvador town. Here again in the image you can see. And now we are going to talk about the drainage of India. Rivers in India are largely classified according to their source region into Himalayan and peninsula rivers. So, here Himalayan mountain you can see. So, it depends on its source region into Himalayan or peninsular rivers. So, one by one now we are going to talk in detail about most of the rivers in the Himalayas originate from glaciers and in summers when glaciers melt the discharge of water increases in summer. So, they flood during monsoons too. So, Indian drainage system, Himalayan rivers and peninsular river. This map figure 3.5 is given in our textbook about the drainage of India. So, the most of the major rivers in the Himalayas originate from various glaciers and as it originates from glaciers in summer when glaciers melt due to high temperature, the discharge of water increases in summer and because of that they flood during monsoons too. They are perennial rivers which means lasting or existing for 12 months. Here now in the image you can see the Himalayan drainage easily. The drainage covers two major river systems such as Sindhu river system and Ganga river system. Sindhu and its tributaries that is Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Satluj drain the western Himalayas, that is they flow through Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Now, here Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Indus that is Sindhu, Satluj you can see. A major tributary of river Indus, the Satluj originates near Mansarovar and flows westwards. Punjab plains have been formed the depositional work of this river and its tributaries. All these things are here to understand with the help of map. a major tributary of river Sindhu. River Sindhu, the Satluj originates near Mansarovar and flows westwards. Now, here the river Ganga, you can see here Ganga, here Indus river this way. The river Ganga originates from the Gangotri glacier, and crosses the Himalayas to become an east flowing river. Many tributaries of the Ganga also flow in similar manner. Yamuna, originating at Yamunotri, is a major tributary of Ganga. That we will see in the map. The river Ganga originates from the Gangotri glacier and crosses the Himalayas to become an east flowing river. So, here you can see Ganga, in this way it is flowing. Another major tributary of the Ganga flows through the northern part of the greater Himalayas, crosses the Himalayas to enter India. Now, when it flows through the Himalayas, it is called Sangpo, and when it crosses the Himalayas, it is called Dihang, and its eastward flow thereafter is called as Brahmaputra. Here you can see Brahmaputra. So, from time to time Ganga meets its tributaries and hence its discharge increases. Ganga receives Brahmaputra as its tributary in its lower reaches in Bangladesh. This is Ganga delta. Here you can see the huge volume of water and huge deposition has led the formation of a large delta here. And besides these Himalayan rivers, a number of tributaries from peninsula like Chambal, Ken, Betwa, Shon, Damodar, etc. drain into the Ganga basin. Now, the next point, peninsular rivers. The peninsular river systems can further be divided into east flowing and west flowing. In the east flowing meeting the Bay of Bengal, and in the west flowing meeting the Arabian Sea. Here now you can see Narmada, Tapi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, and here the Mahanadi. The Western Ghats form a major water divide in the peninsula. The peninsular rivers, being rain-fed rivers, seldom face the problem of floods, and they are seasonal in nature, which means which are not perennial. The west flowing rivers occupying the area between the Western Ghats and the Arabian coastline are short in length but swift, and this condition of short and swift river system exists in the states of Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra and southern Gujarat. So, on the screen again, if you people go through the map, you can understand this. Further northwards, one comes across the river system flowing into the Gulf of Kambat. And these river systems are Tapi, Narmada, Mahi and Sabarmati. Here Tapi, Mahi, Sabarmati. Tapi and Narmada. Here Narmada, Tapi flows slowly through rift valleys. You can see their flow, which flows slowly through rift valleys. My river flows from northeast to southwest direction. This one from the northeast to southwest direction, whereas river Sabarmati here next to the Mai,
Sabarmati, collecting its headwaters from the southern slopes of Arauli ranges, flows in somewhat north-south direction. Another noteworthy river forming the catchment of Arabian Sea is river Luni. It originates along the western slopes of Arauli range and flows in somewhat northwest to southeast direction and flows into Gulf of Kutch. Here you can see Luni river, how it flows. This one. And now the next point, rivers meeting the Bay of Bengal. Most of the area of the peninsula is drained by the rivers flowing towards Bay of Bengal. So, the important river systems of this group are Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. Now, here you can see Godavari, Mahanadi, Krishna and Kaveri. Mahanadi basin occupies the northeastern part of the peninsula. Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri originate in the eastern slopes of the western Ghats. Then river Godavari is the second largest river system in India. River Godavari is the second largest river system in India, and in here you can see the catchment area or the Godavari basin. To the south of Godavari is located the basin of river Krishna. Its major tributaries are Bhima and Tungabhadra. So, river Kaveri basin flows through the states of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. But before that, you just go through these rivers meeting the Bay of Bengal. It is very important to understand the origin of the river and its meeting point, and map is the thing which always help us to understand these things. River Kaveri basin flows through the states of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. It is one of the major rivers of peninsula, and it is a river that has been harnessed for irrigation since a long time. Now, on the screen you can see the map, figure 3.4 and figure 3.5. In 3.4, Brazil drainage, and figure 3.5, drainage of India. So, you people just go through these maps and understand the drainage system of India and drainage system of Brazil.
Please subscribe the channel and press bell icon to get notifications.
So my dear ones, this is all for today. Thank you very much. Stay home, stay safe, take care.